Recently, Nikon released 4 interesting LUTs. Basically, this is kind of the merger between Red cinema camera and Nikon, and this is kind of like the first few trickles of technology between the two companies that we're seeing. But it's really interesting because of a couple reasons. One is that Nikon is very invested in sharing the Red cinema technology to the other products it has in its lineup, such as the Nikon Z6, Z9, and Z8, basically, that are all in the N-Log range of these modern, more up-to-date Nikon cameras. And what's really fascinating is that because Nikon released these 4 LUTs, it actually allows content creators to create more appealing pieces of media as well as other sort of. So let's kind of go over which ones I really like and what these color science from the Nikon Cinema Red, or from the Nikon and Red union, is really going to give us. So let's kind of dive into some of the footage here and see how it's actually interplaying with some of the modern technology that we're seeing here. So let's actually kind of hop on DaVinci Resolve and kind of go over these these very interesting LUTs that Nikon and Red have released. So let's hop on over here and let's take a look at just a very simple N-Log image. So this is basically just my face right here, shot on a very flat, kind of just dim lighting profile, nothing too exciting. And since it was shot on the Nikon ZF, let's actually grab an example here. So now it's just flat, and all I'm gonna do is just apply a very simple LUT, and it's just gonna be the Nikon ZF 2 Rec 709. And as you can see, just applying that LUT, you have a pretty clean image, nothing great. But as you can see, the wave scopes, they're a little flat over here. So what I'm actually gonna do is now apply the very similar concept, but instead of using the Nikon ZF 2 Rec 709, I'm actually gonna grab the N-Log over here that was released by Nikon Red and apply it to the first node just to see kind of the difference. So as you can see, if I shift between these two, you can see that the actual Red N-Log actually looks a little bit better in my opinion. And I would actually call this good on its own. Basically, all I would do is maybe just apply a little curve to the tone here. And as you can see, the wave scopes are a little crunched down, which actually gives it more of a natural look, really. The skin tone looks a lot better in my opinion and very clear. Now let's actually apply the same LUTs to 2 more examples. Let's jump to this first example, and this is actually shot on my Nikon Z9, and it's actually N RAW right here. And as you can see, the image is a little flat everywhere, which is nice, right? So it's nothing too great. But if we go back here and look at the same image, when I apply the Nikon Z9 log to Rec 709, we're gonna see some weird coloring. So it's nice. It's kind of all over the place, right? It's very stretched very thinly, but it's a little orange in my opinion, right? So I would have to do a lot of adjusting here. I'd probably drop the reds down. So I'd probably drop it to blue, adjust, and it's a whole workaround to make it look a little nicer, not too, what's the right word? Too colorified, right? You want a flatter color, but it's a more neutral, colorful color, right? So let's actually apply the same logic, but instead of just going straight, you know, N-Log to Rec 709, I'm actually gonna grab the new LUT that was offered by Red and Nikon. And as you can see, just applying that right there, this is a very bright image. It's a little too bright for my opinion. As you can see, it's starting to clip over here in scopes, but if we go here, it's actually recovering a lot of that information. It's definitely more even and more neutral, which is what I really like. Is if you're gonna be doing any color grading from a more professional set, you want more of a neutral color that's not clipping the highlights or darkening the shadows too much. And to finish this off, I probably would do something very simple like, let's see, maybe just boost the color a little bit and drop the shadows. So I probably would do a little S curve here. Let's see, yeah, that's good. Yeah, let's stretch out that image. And just applying these subtle little things right here, just adding a little color boost and just adding a little bit of tonal curve to the image, you could actually get something that's, in my opinion, a little more pleasing and a little more natural representative of what your eye is seeing. So now let's actually apply the same thing, but what we're gonna do is actually apply it to something with more blacks, I would say, that's clipping in the highlights, and it's a very strongly contrasted image. So straight out of camera and raw, you know, it's a little flat and crunched down. So what we're gonna do is just compare the new LUT to the old LUT. So if we grab the Z9, apply that, you can see that the whole parade scope over here is kind of stretched out. You don't always want that. You kind of want things to be not clipped, but crunched down and have a very even between the reds, the greens, and the blues. So let's actually grab the same thing and reapply that new LUT that we have here. And that looks really good already on its own. So just looking at this, it's definitely more even now, right? So the parade scopes are definitely stretched out more evenly. So what I'm actually gonna do is apply a little bit of a curve, stretch that out a little bit down. That looks good. That's looking definitely nicer. Personally, when I'm color grading, I like things to be a little darker on the blacks and a little more neutral in the greens. So as you can see, it's definitely more balanced. So to kind of finish this off, I'm probably gonna just add a little color, and already that's looking definitely better, more neutral. So I really like that. So now let's kind of go over the final few ones. I'm not going to cover these in any particular order, but if anyone's into the color science and works on films using, you know, the official Red 3 color grading, let's actually kind of look at what these are going to look like at the 4Runner. So what you could actually grab is the red film bias offset to N-Log to Rec 709. So let's actually grab this one. Let's actually go to the bleach pass. So when you're bleaching colors, it's actually working for more of a neutral tone. So you can actually add the color in post. So this is looking pretty nice. It looks like more of a student film than anything else. I probably wouldn't use this one personally too much. And then let's look at the film bias. So the film bias probably looks a little bit more of what I would probably want to start looking at. And just grading this real quick by adding a curve. Oh, look at that right here, and just add a little color. That's already looking a lot better than what we started with, which was this. Let me slap this one on over here. So this is what we started with, and just doing some minor tweaks, you could actually make this look way better from a professional set. So, hope you guys really enjoyed this video. This was more of just a quick little update, really, of the interesting color science and union that's happening between Nikon and Red. And I'm really excited. I wish I had a Red camera so I could actually compare and contrast these between Red and Nikon cameras. Hopefully that'll happen in the future. Maybe I can rent one out when it's a little cheaper. But anyways, hope you guys really like this video. Hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps this channel out, helps the algorithm. And yeah, more Nikon content coming out soon. This is more of just a quick little edit for, you know, all the Nikon people who are out there really getting excited for everything that's happening in the Nikon scope. But anyway, if you're a Nikon user, let me know what kind of camera you guys are using. If you're new to the Nikon game, let me know what camera you got. And let me know what kind of content you guys are really looking forward to. Again, we're mostly focusing the channel more on Nikon content. But yeah, in the meantime, see you next time.